Have you ever wondered how the Chinese rice grasshopper can swim and jump out of water? Well, this tiny creature, native to China's rice-growing regions, particularly along the Yangtze River, is known for its unusual ability to perform water acrobatics. Despite being a land animal, it exhibits an impressive knack for navigating the aquatic realm. If they happen to fall into water, these grasshoppers can easily jump out and take flight, an ability that has piqued the interest of researchers worldwide, particularly those in the field of robotics. Until recently, the Chinese rice grasshopper's unique ability to move swiftly on the water surface and to jump out of it remained largely unexplored. But in the quest to understand the natural world and its intricate mechanisms, a team of scientists led by biologist, material scientist, and bionics specialist Professor Stanislav N. Gorb from Kiel University's Institute of Zoology delved into the world of these grasshoppers. A team of researchers led by Professor Stanislav N. Gorb set out to answer this question. Their mission? To delve into the remarkable abilities of the Chinese rice grasshopper and uncover the secrets behind its swift and nimble water acrobatics. This investigation was no small task. It required patience, precision, and an array of high-tech equipment. To begin their quest, the research team assembled a group of 15 Chinese rice grasshoppers. Each of these grasshoppers varied in size, with body lengths ranging from 2.2 to 3.4 centimeters and weights between 0.4 to 1.0 grams. The stage for the experiment was set in a glass tank brimming with water, designed to mimic the grasshopper's natural aquatic environment. The grasshoppers were then gently introduced into the tank. What followed was a spectacle of nature's engineering. Some of the grasshoppers remained completely inactive on the water's surface. Others passively drifted along with the flow, while the rest actively swam or immediately jumped out of the water. Gorb and his team carefully observed and documented each movement. Armed with 2 high-speed cameras, they were able to capture every flick of a leg, every ripple in the water, every leap and splash. A total of 48 jumping attempts and 54 swimming attempts by the grasshoppers were included in the analysis, but this was just the beginning. The real challenge was making sense of the raw data. The team compared the jumping and swimming locomotion, seeking to understand the mechanisms that the grasshoppers used to generate the forces that facilitated their water acrobatics. They analyzed the interaction between the grasshopper's limbs and the water, unveiling the delicate interplay between the static and dynamic forces at play. So, what did these high-speed cameras reveal about the grasshopper's movements? The analysis of these recordings unveiled some fascinating insights. The Chinese rice grasshopper, a master of water acrobatics, uses a combination of static and dynamic forces to perform its incredible feats. But what does this mean exactly? Well, static forces refer to the forces that are not dependent on motion. In this case, it's the hydrostatic pressure, the pressure exerted by a fluid at equilibrium due to the force of gravity. This pressure supports the body weight of the grasshopper in water, proportional to its mass. So even though these creatures are not natural swimmers, they can stay afloat without much effort, thanks to this hydrostatic support. Now, onto the dynamic forces. These are the forces that come into play when our grasshopper decides it's time to get moving. They are derived from controlled interactions between the grasshopper's limbs and the water, a mechanism we call hydrodynamics. By rapidly moving its legs in a specific pattern, the grasshopper can generate enough thrust to propel itself forward in the water or even leap out of it completely. But it's not just about moving the legs randomly. The grasshopper has to carefully control the speed, angle, and timing of its leg movements to optimize the hydrodynamic forces. Too slow, and it won't generate enough thrust. Too fast, and it could end up wasting energy without gaining much speed. It's a delicate balancing act that requires precision and finesse. So, through a combination of static and dynamic forces, the hydrostatic pressure that keeps them afloat and the hydrodynamic forces that allow them to swim and jump, the Chinese rice grasshoppers perform their water acrobatics with grace and efficiency. But how can these findings be translated into advanced robotics? These findings led to a new drive strategy for robotics. It's time to delve into the shortcomings of previous strategies and introduced the groundbreaking new approach inspired by the Chinese rice grasshopper. Formerly, most research in the field of robotics focused on two types of locomotion on the surface of water. The first involves surface tension, a strategy used by creatures like the graceful water strider. The second is dominated by the dynamics of the limbs, used by creatures such as the basilisk lizard, which famously runs on water. However, both of these strategies have their limitations when applied to robotics. Surface tension-based locomotion relies on superhydrophobic or non-wettable surfaces. For robots, achieving such surfaces can be quite a challenge, especially when we're dealing with larger models. On the other hand, locomotion dominated by the dynamics of the limbs requires frequent striking of the surface, both by animals and robots alike. This process can be incredibly energy-intensive, making it less than ideal for practical applications. Enter the Chinese rice grasshopper, a creature that has introduced us to a completely new principle of locomotion. Unlike the water strider and basilisk lizard, the grasshopper's ability to jump out of the water relies on a unique combination of static and dynamic forces. It's a strategy that balances hydrostatic pressure in proportion to the grasshopper's mass, with motion drives derived from controlled interactions between the grasshopper's limbs and the water, or hydrodynamics. This remarkable strategy could revolutionize the field of robotics. By mimicking the Chinese rice grasshopper, we could develop robots capable of efficient water locomotion without the need for superhydrophobic surfaces or energy-consuming limb dynamics. This could lead to robots that are not only more energy efficient, but also more practical for a variety of applications. This is how the Chinese rice grasshopper is inspiring cutting-edge robotics. The natural world continues to provide incredible inspiration, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface of what we can learn and apply to our technological advancements. So, what have we learned from this remarkable insect? Indeed, the Chinese rice grasshopper, a common inhabitant of China's rice-growing regions, is more than just a pest. It's an acrobat, a swimmer, a jumper, and now a muse for robotics. This tiny creature, with its extraordinary ability to perform water acrobatics, has been the subject of intensive study. Researchers, led by Professor Stanislav N. Gorb, meticulously observed and analyzed its unique locomotion, both on the water surface and when jumping out of it. They used high-speed cameras to capture the grasshopper's movements, which were then evaluated, revealing intriguing insights into the interplay of static and dynamic forces that facilitate such impressive acrobatics. Their findings have opened up a new realm of possibilities for advanced robotics. The grasshopper's ability to jump out of the water in particular has provided a fresh perspective on drive strategies. Previous methods have either relied heavily on surface tension, which isn't feasible for larger robots, or on energy-intensive limb dynamics. The Chinese rice grasshopper, however, employs a different drive principle, one that could revolutionize the way we design and build robots. This study highlights the potential of biomimicry, the practice of learning from and mimicking nature to solve human problems. By looking closely at the grasshopper's acrobatic abilities, we can develop robots capable of traversing varied terrains, perhaps even leaping out of the water just like their insect inspiration. In conclusion, this seemingly simple insect has demonstrated that even the smallest creatures have something to teach us. It's a reminder that inspiration can come from the unlikeliest of places, and that nature, in all its diversity and complexity, holds the key to countless technological advancements. Next time you see a grasshopper, remember, it's not just an insect. It could be the inspiration for the next breakthrough in robotics.